What's going on, guys? Michael Reynolds here from Godfather Smokers, and in today's video we're going to be doing mouth-watering bacon. So with today's recipe, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a nice big piece of pork belly. Now this is our Iron Bark Farms pork belly. This is very, very beautiful. Take a look at that. It's got some very nice marbling in there. Oh, I can't wait to cut into this and then show you how to do bacon. Now this is a very simple and very fun process how you can make bacon at home. So pretty much we've got our nice pork belly, some nice fat on the top, some nice marbling running through it. This is exactly what we're looking for when it comes to our pork belly. So we've got our water pan going. What we're going to do for now is we're going to grab a saucepan, chuck that on, get some heat in there. We'll open up this bottom bit just to allow the heat to permeate a bit more, get up to the top. Now we're putting just a cup of water in this. So to that cup of water, we're going to start piling up our spice mix. So this is going to give the bacon a lovely flavour and also give it a lovely colour as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some parsley. So everybody loves parsley, so we're going to chuck in a teaspoon of parsley. We're going to chuck in a teaspoon of some crushed chilies. A teaspoon of lemon pepper, a teaspoon of onion granules, and then we've got what we call our pink curing salt. So this is Insta-Cure. So this is what we want to use to cure our pork and turn it into bacon. So what we want to do is we want to add a tablespoon of our Insta-Cure, and then we've got some dried bay leaves, so we're just going to add a few of those. These will give it a little bit of flavour. So we just want to grab about 3 or 4 of these, snap them up, put them in, and then we've got some smoked paprika. So the smoked paprika, we're going to add a tablespoon of this. That will give it a nice smoky flavour, but also it's going to give it a very nice mahogany colour as well. So to that, we're going to add some honey. We want to add a tablespoon. Then we're going to open up our brown sugar. And we want to add half a cup of brown sugar. So now that we've added our brown sugar in there, what we're going to do is we're going to allow this mixture, this beautiful mixture, to start reducing down. So what we can do with that curing salt, we want to make sure that that curing salt actually starts to dissolve. So when we're looking at it, we want it to be a thin consistency. Most people don't realise that the reason we're having it like this is because we can't put the mixture hot over the top of the the bacon. So what we're going to do is we want to make sure that with the bacon, or with this beautiful pork belly, that it goes on cold, because otherwise it's going to start cooking our pork belly, and that's not what we want. So we've got ourselves a plastic container. So now that this is reduced down and the salt's cooked out, what we're going to do is we're going to pour this lovely mixture into our pan, or into our plastic container. We're going to add some more water. So we just want enough to fill it up for, so it covers that beautiful pork belly. So I've used 1.25 litres the whole to cover the whole thing. So we just want to just give that a little bit of a stir through. Okay, so now that we've given that a stir through, grab our lovely pork belly and put that straight into our mixture. So this is a brine mixture, so we want to make sure that this is fully submerged. And then we just want to pop the lid on this. So what we're going to do is every day for the next 7 days, we're going to flip this over. Flip it over. Flip it over. Keep flipping it. We want to make sure that this brine mixture penetrates right inside there and that nothing sediments on top. So what we're going to do is this is going to pop inside the fridge. And we're going to make sure that we flip this over every single day so that we impart all that beautiful flavour. But if we need to, so if you find that putting it in this container, it starts to float up, grab something heavy to pop on top so that we can make sure that it's fully submerged, because the cure is not going to work unless it's submerged in that liquid. Okay, so we're at day 1 with the bacon. So we're going to grab our beautiful pork belly, turn it over, let all these flavours marinate, and this is what's going to turn it into bacon. So we're going to place this back into the fridge now and repeat the process for the next 5 days. So we've had our brine solution with our pork belly in it. We've had this soaking in here for 7 days now, and every single day we've actually been taking it out of the solution, flipping it over and putting it back in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rinse this under water, and we're going to remove all the saltiness and the brine solution off of the pork belly. So just going to give this a quick rinse. Beautiful. Then we're going to sit this back down and we're going to pat this dry with our paper towel. So we've got just a couple of sheets of paper towel here, so we're just going to give this a bit of a dry. Pat it down. Remove as much moisture as we possibly can. That's it. So as you can see, we've got a beautiful colour now. It's a nice browny colour. That's the colour that we're after. So now we're going to put this on our smoker, and we're going to let this smoke now. Generally when it comes to smoking a pork belly and getting it ready for bacon, what we want to do is we want to smoke it for around about 3 hours at 150 degrees. Now we want, that's in Fahrenheit, so it's around about 75 degrees Celsius. So what we want to achieve really isn't the time that we want to cook it for, but we want to achieve an internal temperature of 65 degrees. So once we've reached that internal temperature, then our bacon is ready to take off. Now, when it comes to smoking it as bacon, we don't want to cook it all the way through. It's basically just cooking it on the outside, because when we cook it for bacon, in our frying pans and stuff, that generally cooks it the rest, so we don't want it to dry out. So we've got our smoker set up. Inside here we've got our water pan. Today we're going to be actually using charcoal as opposed to our barbecue briquettes because we want to get a different flavour profile onto our bacon. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our pork belly. Beautiful. Put that straight in the middle. And then we're going to allow this to smoke. So like I said before, we're aiming for an internal temperature of 65 degrees, which is around about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're not aiming for time, we're aiming for a temperature. So we're going to be checking this, providing we keep the smoker set to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to let this go for another hour and then come back and probe it and see what temperature we're sitting at, because we're only aiming for 65. So we're sitting at 53 degrees, so we need to let that continue to cook a little bit longer. It's not quite at 65 yet. Okay, so we've pulled the bacon off the smoker. We've had it in the fridge now for around about 2 hours. Now it's time to unwrap it and slice through it so you can see what we're dealing with. So we're just going to give this a thin slice, just so you can get an indication as to what it looks like. And there we have it, our beautiful bacon. Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time. What's going on, guys? Michael Reynolds here from Godfather Smokers, and in today's video we're going to be doing a pastrami. Alright, so what I've done is we've got this beautiful silver side here. So I've had this soaking in water for about 8 hours. Every 4 hours I've taken it out, rinsed it off and filled it up with fresh water. This is just to remove all of the saltiness and stuff from the brine. I like to keep the fat on this because there's not much on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a simple rub to go on our pastrami. So what it basically consists of is black pepper, and we're going to use this. This is a spiky jerk mix made by Master Foods. So what we're going to do is we've got our mortar and pestle here. We've got half a cup of black peppercorns. So we're going to add that to our mortar and pestle. And then we're just going to give that a little grind up. So as you can see, what we're going to do is we're going to release all those natural oils and everything from the pepper. By grinding it up, it makes it to a nice consistency where we can actually apply this rub liberally over the meat. Because essentially a pastrami is a silver side that's been smoked until the internal temperature reaches 100 degrees and it has a nice peppery rub on it. Some people like to add spices to their rub, like I do, and some people just prefer the pure basics. So if you were to do a basic pastrami rub would generally consist of paprika, black pepper, garlic pepper or garlic powder, onion powder, and a lot of black pepper. Because like I said, the pastrami is a peppery sandwich meat. So it's what we use on sandwiches. You can have it as a roast as well if you like, but sandwiches are a lot better. So we just want to get it to a consistency where it's not really like a real fine consistency, but a coarse consistency, because we still want to have those beautiful peppered flavors going through. And then we're going to add some other flavors to this. So we'll just give this a little bash, a little bit more, just to release a lot of those natural oils inside the pepper. Okay, beautiful. So you can see now we've got our coarse rub mixture. So what we're going to do now is we've got our Master Foods spicy jerk rub. We're going to add 1/3 of a cup of this to that same mixture. Then what we're going to do is just give that a little mix around. Now, like I said, because it's a pastrami, you want to have more of that pepper flavour shining through than anything else, because pastrami is peppered beef. Okay, so you can see now we've got it at that consistency, that beautiful consistency that we're after. So now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the rub mixture all over our beautiful silver side. You want to pat that in as well. So patting it in just secures and locks in those beautiful flavours. You want to make sure that we cover every single bit of this. Flip it over and repeat the process. Oh, the smells from this rub is absolutely sensational. Pat it in. Beautiful. Apply the rest. And then we just want to make sure that we push the rub onto all sides. Spread it evenly. Okay, so now you can see we've got the meat completely rubbed down. All that beautiful rub mixture's been sitting in there now. We've had it sitting in there for 10 minutes. We're just about ready to pop this onto the smoker now. So we want our smoker temperature to be sitting at 150 degrees for the first half an hour. Then we're going to drop it down to 100 degrees, and we're going to be smoking this for 6 hours or until the internal temperature reaches 100 degrees. Because we're not looking for it to be completely cooked all the way through, because just remembering this is a beef, we do want it a little bit pink in the middle, because that's what imparts a lot of that beautiful juicy flavour that we're after when it comes to a nice piece of pastrami. So we've got our beautiful smoker set up for indirect cooking. Again, we've got the water pan sitting inside of the smoker. We've got a nice thin blue layer of smoke coming through. So we want to pop this pastrami directly on top of the water pan, and then we're going to allow this to cook, like I said, for 30 minutes at 150 degrees. Then we're going to drop the temperature down to 100 degrees, where we're going to cook it for a further 5.5 hours. But just remembering that we want to get the internal temperature up to 100 degrees. So once it reaches that, it's cooked. If we get it just a little bit before that, that's fine, because once we wrap it in foil, it will still continue to cook a little bit more. So we're going to allow that to rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it off around 95 degrees and then allow it to finish off the the cooking process inside the foil itself. my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time.
Just like that, the chicken is done. Have a look at that. Absolutely sensational. What we're going to do, get some nice colour on it. You can see the lovely colour, the caramelisation on the chicken. So now that we have some beautiful colour on our chicken, we're going to start with prepping our vegetables and the sauce. So now we're going to start prepping our stuff for our sauce. So over here, we have the red onion. It's just one small one. We don't want to add too much onion, because if we add too much onion it can be overpowering and take away from the sauce. So we just want one small red one. Straight into our bowl. We have a teaspoon of turmeric. This is ground turmeric. We have some crushed ginger. This is just crushed ginger that you can buy in the jar. So we want 2 tablespoons of that. There we go. Beautiful. We have some fresh honey. We want 2 tablespoons of that to balance it out. And then we have these beautiful rosemary flowers. Just want to pick a couple of these flowers because these flowers provide a lot of flavour. It's a subtle rosemary flavour. About that much. Now we have some boiling water. Just enough to combine the ingredients together. The smell of this sauce already is absolutely amazing. So we'll add just a little bit more. Okay, beautiful. Now we're going to start prepping our carrots and broccoli, so we're just going to top and tail these. Nothing fancy with these again, guys. All we're going to do is cut them into rings. As thin as you can get them. If you cut them too thin, they'll take a long time to cook. So we're going to cut up our broccoli pieces. We're going to add in our vegetables with the chicken. Make sure your vegetables sit to the bottom so they can start to cook through. And we're going to cook these until they're softened. So now that the vegetables have softened, we're going to add our sauce. Mix it around so everything's coated. Once we have everything coated, we'll pop our lid on it and allow that sauce to reduce and thicken up and coat the chicken. And just like that, the chicken is done. Have a look at that. Absolutely sensational. You can have this on a nice bed of rice. Enjoy, guys.
Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time.
Of beef mince. So here we have 600 grams of beef mince. I'm going to start rolling these out into meatballs. Squish them in between your hands. Roll them into a meatball. Put them onto our plate. We'll do this with all the mince. So now that we have our meatballs done, we've got a Pyrex dish here, we've got our meatballs here. We're going to give our Pyrex dish just a bit of a spray with some cooking oil. It's just to make sure it doesn't stick. I'm going to pop these in here. Try not to let them touch. We're going to pop these into our air fryer at 180 degrees for 20 minutes. So now that our meatballs are cooking, we're going to saute our onions. Once our onions start to soften, we're going to start adding our vegetables and start softening them up as well. Now that our onions are softened, we're going to start adding our carrots. Allow these to soften. Now that the carrots are softened up, we're going to add some broccoli. Toss that through. Allow that to cook for a little bit. And we'll come back and add the meatballs. So now that we have our vegetables all nice and cooked, we're going to add in our meatballs. Toss them through. Now we're going to start forming the base a little bit. So we're going to add in some instant beef flavoured paste. We're going to add in some black bean paste. A generous tablespoon of that. And then we're going to get some boiling water and add that also. Now we're going to mix that up. So it starts to form a sauce. more water to it. We're going to add a touch of sweetness to it as well, add some honey. We're going to combine all of this together. I'm going to turn this down to low and allow it to simmer and allow all that sauce to infuse into the vegetables and the meatballs. Take a look at this, guys, beautifully done.
Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time.
We've got about 4 cloves of garlic here, guys. Just going to finely dice this, just the best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you just roughly dice it. Because this is going to be part of our marinade anyway, so when it cooks out, you won't really taste the big chunks of garlic. We'll pop this straight into our bowl. We have 1 small onion, so we're just going to dice that best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. These recipes that I'm providing, they're not rocket science. You don't have to have a degree to cook these recipes. Anybody at home can do them. I'm just a home cook and enjoys showing you guys how to cook. It's always important to make sure too that you have a sharp knife, because if your knife's not sharp enough, you're going to cut yourself. So every time before you go to use your knife on a new cook, always make sure that you sharpen your knife, because your tools are what's the most important part of cooking, because if you don't have the right tools, the right sharpness, you can't provide the right results. Then you're going to end up getting hurt. Okay, so to this we have some soy sauce. I'm going to add roughly about a quarter of a cup of soy sauce. These are just rough measurements, so you can adjust this to your liking, to your taste buds. We have some fish sauce. So whatever good quality fish sauce you get your hands on, you just want roughly about 2 tablespoons of that. We have some oyster sauce. Oyster sauce you want roughly about the same, so about another 2 tablespoons of that. Again guys, whatever oyster sauce you can get your hands on. We have some white pepper. a tablespoon of that, it's just more so for flavour. We have some hoisin sauce. You can use your favourite brand of hoisin sauce. So we want about 2 tablespoons of that. So everything's kind of consistent with how many tablespoons of things that we're putting in. So 2, 1 of that. That's it. And then for a little bit of sweetness, just to balance everything out, you want some honey. About 2 tablespoons of that also. Now we're going to give it a mix. Look at that nice dark colour that we have here. Absolutely beautiful. And the smell of this, guys, absolutely sensational. So to a hot pan, we want to add 500 grams of diced chicken thighs. Now you can buy the chicken thighs separately, or you can dice them yourself, which is what I do. So I tend to buy the whole chickens, and then I dice them and cut it all up into the individual pieces and sections. So I'm looking at putting together a video which will explain on how to basically separate the chicken into all its pieces, so you can do it at home. Because when you're buying all the chicken pieces that are already cut up, you're paying more money because you're paying for them to cut it up. But if you buy a whole chicken and break it down yourself, it's so much cheaper. So we want to brown this and get some nice caramelization, some nice colour in this. So to this dish, we've got 2 lovely giant carrots here. We're going to top and tail them. And then we're going to cut them into matchsticks. So we'll cut these in half. And then we're going to remove the skin. Just the best way that you know how. That's why it's important to always make sure that you have a sharp knife, because if my knife was blunt and I was trying to cut the carrot, I guarantee you I would have cut my fingers off by now. So just rough matchsticks, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. If you've got some thick pieces like I have, you can just trim them down. It's home cooking, it's simple, it's easy. It's nothing complicated. So from here we're also going to add some bok choy. So we just want to remove the tails off of this and keep the bok choy like this. We're going to wash this bok choy as well because the roots can get quite dirty. We're going to leave the bok choy whole. And we have some beautiful mushrooms that we're going to add as well. just want a couple of these mushrooms. These are the portobello mushrooms. So about 5 big ones will do. And we're just going to slice these. Nothing fancy, guys. Right, so now that we have some beautiful colour on the chicken, we're going to slowly start adding the vegetables. So we're going to start off with the carrots first, because the carrots are the hardest. We're going to let them cook down a little bit until they're a little bit more softer. Once they become a little bit softer, then we're going to add in our bok choy and then our mushrooms. The mushrooms, they don't take long to cook at all. They'll release some of that moisture. So now that our carrots have cooked down a bit, what we're going to do now is we're going to add in our bok choy. I'm going to sweat these down. So once these start to soften up, then we'll add our mushrooms in. Alright guys, now we're going to add in our mushrooms. I'm going to sweat them down until they're a bit softer, so they can release all that beautiful flavour up the as well. So now that the mushrooms are cooked down, we're going to add that beautiful sauce that we made. I'm going to turn this down to low and allow this to simmer with the sauce in there, so all the rawness of the garlic and the onions cook out, and so the ingredients of the sauce have enough time to incorporate with all the lovely vegetables and the chicken that we put in there. So give it a good mix, and we're just going to simmer this on low until the sauce is coated everything and the rawness is cooked out. So roughly you want to do, I don't know, roughly about 5 minutes. So we're just going to let this simmer down. Right guys, so now we're going to serve it on some beautiful hoka noodles that we have here. Some of that lovely sauce on each of them. top with some spring onions. I have here some crispy chicken skin that I've just air fried. We're going to crumble up some of this on top. There you have it, guys, my recipe for Asian style chicken.
Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time. for watching my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time. G'day everybody, Michael Reynolds here from Godfather Smokers, and in today's video we're going to be doing carbonara. So starting off, what we want to do is we want to get our home smoked bacon. Want to cut a couple of thin slices, and this is what's going to go inside of our beautiful carbonara. Doesn't get any fresher than this. One more slice. So you want 4 rashers of bacon. Beautiful. Now what we want to do is dice this up. Just roughly dice it. Doesn't have to be into real accurate pieces. We want this to look a little bit rustic, so better flavour that way. Beautiful. Then we want to chuck this onto our frying pan. So you can see from here, we've got these lovely little chunks. So we're going to pop this onto our smoker, and pretty much that's what's going to caramelize, provide a nice layer of flavour. That fat's going to render down, and we're going to get some beautiful flavour. Okay, so into the frying pan we go now. We've got this pan nice and warm. We're going to chuck this in. So beautifully we've got that in the pan. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to allow this to heat up now and start cooking, start rendering down some of that fat. And once we've rendered down some of that fat, we're going to chop up some parsley and some garlic and add that to our mixture. So while we're waiting for our bacon to slowly start to render down and to crisp up, what we're going to do now is we're going to make our pasta. Now this is relatively simple. What we want to do is grab some plain flour. Now, with the measurements of this, I'm just doing it very rustic, so what you want is just a nice generous handful. A little bit more. And to this, make a well in the center. We're going to add 2 eggs. This is the fun part. We're going to use our hands and we're going to mix all of this together till it forms the dough that we're after. So as you can see, we're mixing it around. Now you can tell we have a nice dough when all of the excess flour inside the bowl is mixing in. And by doing this, we're forming the gluten. We just want to give this a nice even mix up. So now we've got our dough to the consistency we want. We're going to put this on the bench, allow it to rest for 30 minutes. So now we're starting to get some lovely colour on our bacon. So what we want to do now is start chopping up the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so what we've got here is some nice fresh parsley. So we're going to snap off a few sprigs of this. About a handful. We're going to chop this up. We're going to add our chopped parsley over to our cooked bacon. Throw that in there. Then we want to just give that a little toss through. Allow that to cook a bit more. Some mushrooms here, but we're not going to add those just yet. We're going to grab some garlic. We only want 4 cloves of garlic. We're just going to crush these with our knife and remove them from the skins. And then we're going to finally dice these. Add the garlic to the pan. In it goes with the rest of the beautiful ingredients. Then we're going to toss that through. Absolutely beautiful. You can have a look at this. And the smell, absolutely sensational. So we're going to keep that on the heat. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some water on for our fresh pasta that we're making. So we want this to get nice and hot and come to a boil. So now we're ready to add our mushrooms into this beautiful pan that we've got here. Give it a toss through. And we'll let those mushrooms cook down. So now we're going to make our sauce for the carbonara. So what we want to do is get ourselves 2 eggs. And to these 2 eggs, we want to add some cheese. Now we're going to add this one. This one's the Grana Padano. It's one of my favourite cheeses. So what we're going to do is put a little bit on the cutting board, chop it up. So we want a handful of this cheese. Chop it up a little bit. And then add this into our egg mixture. Now this is a mild cheese, it's not very strong. So to this, we just want to give it a whisk. Combine all that lovely cheese with our egg. To this mixture, we want to add some salt and pepper. Give that a good whisk through so it's all combined. And that's going to be our beautiful mixture, a beautiful sauce for our carbonara. So it's been 30 minutes now, so what we're going to do is we're going to flour our bench. Just a little bit. What about our dough? And now we're going to roll it out. So just with the palm of our hands, what we're going to do is just gradually push it out, making a nice round circle. Pushing it out with our palms. That's it. Try and get it a nice, beautiful circle. Now you can make this as thin or as thick as you like. That's it. Small tear, good coat, it's fixable. So we just want to rub this down now. That's it. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is we're going to roll this out. Roll it just into the center. And then do the same with the other side. We're going to grab our knife and we're going to cut these into the size that we're after. So as you can see, some lovely pasta pieces. So this is fettuccine style pasta. It's a little bit thicker than normal. So now we've got our water to the boil, it's time to add our pasta. As you can see with the pasta, I've separated it and we're ready to add it to our water. So we just want to grab little bits at a time to make sure it's all separated when we put it in. Allow that to continue to boil, and we're going to keep stirring it with our tongs just to make sure that we get it nice and separated. We want to get this nice and soft. Once this is beautifully and soft, what we're going to do then is we're going to add this pasta to our lovely mixture. As you can see, this lovely mixture now has a beautiful colour. So this is the colour that we're after. Everything's cooked out the way we want. The fat's rendered down. Everything's cooked just nicely. So we're going to put this to the side and allow our pasta to continue to cook. We've got our pasta ready. We're going to add that to our bacon mixture. Toss it through. We're going to just generously heat up the pan. We're going to add our sauce mixture to this, and this is just going to cook just for a little bit longer. So we've got our sauce mixture that we made earlier. Let's give it another whisker. And then we're just going to add this to our pan. And give that a toss through. Beautiful, that nice cheese is going to melt through, and then we're going to have a really nice, lovely consistency. So there you have it, guys. My version of carbonara. Thanks for watching my video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss a thing when it comes to my videos, and you'll see me smoking next time.